Creature Under the Bed, Part 1, The First Night. It was a cold autumn evening when Emily Carter, a 12-year-old girl with curious eyes and messy brown hair, moved into the new house with her parents. The house was large, old, and creaked with every step. Her parents called it charming, but to Emily it felt haunted the moment she saw it. Her bedroom was at the end of a long hallway on the second floor. The wallpaper peeled in places, and the wooden floor bent under her feet. Still, her parents assured her that she would get used to it. That night, Emily lay in her bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to sleep. The wind howled outside, rattling the window. Just as her eyes began to close, she heard it. Scratch! 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 The sound came from underneath her bed. Emily froze, her tiny hands clutching the blanket. At first, she thought it was a mouse, but the scratching was too heavy, too slow. She gathered her courage, leaned over the side of her bed, and whispered, "Hello?" No answer. She squeezed her eyes shut and pulled the blanket over her head. Eventually, she drifted into a troubled sleep, convincing herself it was her imagination. Part 2. The Warning. The following morning, Emily mentioned the sound to her mother. "It's probably just the house settling," her mother said while buttering toast. Her father chuckled, "Or maybe the monster under the bed wants to be your friend." They both laughed, but Emily didn't. That night, the scratching returned. This time, louder, more deliberate. She pressed her ear against the mattress, and her heart nearly stopped when she heard breathing. Heavy, wet breathing. Emily bolted out of bed and switched on the lamp. The scratching stopped immediately. She leaned down slowly, lifting the corner of her blanket to peek under the bed. Nothing, just shadows. But then, two glowing yellow eyes stared back at her. Emily screamed. Her parents rushed into the room, flipping on the lights. The eyes were gone. Her father checked under the bed, even pulled the furniture aside, but there was nothing there. "See? Just a nightmare," he said. But Emily knew what she had seen. Part 3. The Creature. The next few nights were worse. Emily barely slept. The scratching never stopped. Sometimes she would hear whispers, too faint to understand. Other times, her blankets would be tugged gently as if something beneath the bed wanted to pull them away. On the fourth night, she heard her name. Emily. Her body stiffened. It wasn't her parents' voice. It was deeper, raspier, as if spoken by something that hadn't used words in centuries. Shaking, she climbed out of bed and ran to her parents' room. "Can I sleep with you tonight?" She begged. Her father sighed, but allowed her to curl up between them. For the first time in days, she slept peacefully. But the next morning, her mother noticed deep red scratches on Emily's ankles. "Emily, how did this happen?" Emily whispered. "The thing under the bed." Her parents exchanged worried looks. Part 4. The Visit. Desperate for answers, Emily's parents called Mrs. Whitaker, an old woman who lived down the street and was rumored to know about spirits. She visited the house that evening, her eyes scanning the walls and floor. When she stepped into Emily's room, her face paled. "There is something here," she said in a trembling voice. "Something old, something hungry." Emily clung to her mother's arm as Mrs. Whitaker knelt beside the bed. She sprinkled salt around it, whispering prayers. Then she froze. From beneath the bed came a deep growl, so low the floor vibrated. Mrs. Whitaker stood quickly. "Do not let her sleep here tonight. That creature feeds on fear, and it has chosen your daughter." Her parents agreed immediately. That night, Emily slept on the couch downstairs. For the first time, the house was silent, but the next morning they found long claw marks carved into the wooden floor of her bedroom, leading from the bed to the door. Part 5. The Bargain. Emily's parents wanted to leave the house, but money was tight. They had spent all their savings to buy it, so they stayed. But the creature didn't stop. It followed Emily wherever she slept. When she stayed on the couch, she heard scratching beneath it. When she tried her parents' bed, whispers curled into her ears at night. There was no escape. One night, Emily whispered into the darkness, "What do you want?" The creature answered, "You." Her heart pounded. "Why me?" The reply was almost a hiss. "You looked at me." She realized with horror that by peeking under the bed that first night, she had invited it. Part 6. The Final Night. Emily grew pale and weak. Dark circles hung under her eyes. Her parents fought constantly, desperate and terrified. Finally, Mrs. Whitaker returned. She brought with her a black book filled with strange symbols. "There is one way," she said. "We must trap it." That night, they prepared the ritual. Candles surrounded Emily's bed, salt circles lined the floor. Emily was told not to leave the bed no matter what happened. The scratching began almost immediately. Then the breathing, the whispers. The candles flickered wildly as something massive shifted beneath the bed. Emily squeezed her eyes shut, whispering prayers. Then, suddenly, the mattress lifted as if something enormous was pressing upward from underneath. With a deafening roar, the creature burst out. Its body was twisted and shadowy, with limbs too long, claws sharp as knives, and those awful yellow eyes glowing in the dark. Her parents screamed. Mrs. Whitaker shouted chants from her book. The creature lunged at Emily, but the salt and candles held it back. It shrieked, thrashing violently, smoke rising from its skin. Finally, with one last scream, it was pulled back under the bed, vanishing into nothing. The room fell silent. Part 7. Aftermath. The next morning, the house felt lighter. Emily could finally breathe. Her parents thanked Mrs. Whitaker, who warned them never to disturb the bed again. For a while, everything seemed normal. Emily laughed again, played outside, even slept peacefully. But 1 month later, as she was cleaning her room, a small slip of paper fell from under the mattress. It had 3 words written in jagged letters: "I'm still here." That night, when Emily lay down to sleep, she heard it again. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The creature had never left. It was only. If you liked this story, please subscribe to the channel and like the video.